What's up, guys? Welcome back to another fantasy football video. Today we got the top 10 must-have fantasy players if you guys want to win your fantasy leagues. So if you want to win your fantasy league this year, go drop a subscribe down below, drop a comment, drop a like, let us know what you think. But without further ado, Trav, take us away with your first must-have player.
My first must-have player is Garrett Wilson. He's been getting hype. Aaron Rodgers in training camp. We've seen the highlights. This guy's going as a receiver 10 with an ADP of 19.5. Let's not forget that this guy with Zach Wilson and Joe Flacco and Mike White had finished as the Elroy and just outside the top 20 last year by rotating three of the worst quarterbacks in the league, basically. You know, this guy, even Davante Adams commented on their hype video saying these two were going to be a problem. And if he could replicate anything from that Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams combo, this guy in the late second round, early third round is going to be a steal. Let's not forget Davante Adams, 3-4 years with Aaron Rodgers, was the number one receiver off the board. So we know Aaron Rodgers is capable of keeping a top receiver. And I think that this guy is going to be a beast. I think, yes, second, third round, maybe it's a little bit of a reach on a guy that we don't really know what's going to happen. New quarterback, new system. But we know that Aaron Rodgers likes his top receivers like he has Davante Adams. And if he can build the rapport with this guy, he is going to be one of the best receivers in fantasy this year.
Completely agree with that. But moving right along with another receiver here, Calvin Ridley. I know this guy did not play last year, but he's currently getting drafted as an ADP of 48, so late fourth round, early fifth. He's a wide receiver 20, so in my opinion, you're getting a great value for this guy. I will say it is a bit of a gamble, might I say, to take this guy, but I think he has the potential to finish as easily a top 10 receiver. I mean, let's not forget, on the Falcons, he also has passing upside. You saw him throwing dots downfield when he was a Falcon, but he is now on an explosive offense, young, with Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Christian Kirk. It's a great situation to be in. Great QB. Yep. Another guy I'm high on is Trevor Lawrence, but we'll get into that a little bit later. I think Calvin Ridley will finish maybe top 5. Who knows? Maybe top 5 receiver, but I'm really high on Calvin Ridley. If you're not drafting him, you're not winning your league this year, guys. So draft some Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. Another guy that I think you're not winning your league with, and this might be a little bit of an obvious pick, is Travis Kelce. This guy's a must-have guy. Let's not forget, this guy held the most percentage on a team. If you won the championship, this guy was probably on it because he was on 40% of championship winners this year. He's the tight end one with an ADP of 6, so he's going early in drafts. But if you can't get Christian McCaffrey, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, if you can't get one of those top guys and you're sitting there late in your first round and Travis Kelce's there, this is a no-brainer pick. He is the number one most positional upgrade of any other positions in the league. This guy's going to get 23 points per game. The next tight end, maybe 15. So he's giving you 8 to 10 more points at this position than any other position. Let's not forget, 2 of the Chiefs' top receivers left. So there's even more targets to go around in that Chiefs offense. McCole Hardman, Juju Smith-Schuster, both out the door. This guy's going to be a beast. We've already seen it. All these fantasy experts are telling you that regression year is coming for Travis Kelce. It's not. This guy is going to be a beast. Patrick Mahomes is still that guy. Travis Kelce is 33. He's not at the end of his prime. We saw Gronk go into his 30s doing what he did. This guy's going to be a must draft. And I'm telling you, if you can't get McCaffrey or Jefferson, I wouldn't even mind you taking him at the number 4 spot.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all, but if you guys want to draft a tight end a little bit later, but still a potential league winner, top 5 tight end here, Dallas Goedert of the Philadelphia Eagles. I love me some Dallas Goedert. He's currently has an ADP of 68 with the tight end 7, so you could pick him up a lot later than you could with Travis Kelce. You got to spend a first-round pick on Travis, but Dallas Goedert, I think, is a great value for the position he's being drafted with. He had a great connection with Jalen Hurts last year as well. I think you guys remember in the Super Bowl, there was a fourth down play, big play. Jalen Hurts was eyeing Dallas Goedert down the field the whole time. Dallas Goedert is an absolute stud at the tight end position, and the opposing defenses are going to have to take note of the other receivers there on the Eagles' offense. So leaving Dallas Goedert open and potentially having a lot more targets. Dallas Goedert actually finished as the tight end 12 last year, but that was due to because he missed 5 games. He still was getting just as many targets and receptions as all the other tight ends. I love me some Dallas Goedert this year. Trav, what do you think about Dallas Goedert?
I think he's good, but a must-have player from that Eagles offense that left is Miles Sanders.
Wow.
This guy, I don't understand how he's not getting the hype that he deserves. He just finished as the 5th highest rushing leader last year, and he's going to a team that's going to utilize him even more. And I get the offense is not going to be as good, and you're not going to get as many red zone touches as you did with the Eagles. But this guy's going as the RB18 with an ADP of 46.3. So you're getting a bell cow guy in the 5th round. This obviously, I think he's going to be the Josh Jacobs of this year. Last year, Josh Jacobs was wrote off completely. We've seen Josh Jacobs before. This guy, we know he can finish as a top 5 rushing leader because he has, and he did it last season. And let's not forget that this offense can support one of the best running backs in the league. Let's not forget 3 years ago, 2 years ago, last year, half of last season, Christian McCaffrey was on this team consistently finishing as the RB1. So this offense can support a top running back in fantasy football, and Miles Sanders is going to be that guy. He's going to get 20 to 25 touches a game. They dropped Deontay Foreman. There's completely no competition in that backfield. This guy is going to get passing upside, which he didn't get last year, and Jalen Hurts is not going to be stealing his touches anymore. Miles Sanders is a must-have in fantasy football.
I completely agree, and not to mention, they don't even have any real good receivers there in Carolina, so yeah. I think Miles Sanders is going to be a big part of that offense there. But, as I mentioned earlier, another one of my favorite must-haves this year, Trevor Lawrence. Kind of on a similar wavelength to Dallas Goedert. If you don't want to take one of those, spend one of those 2nd, 3rd, 4th round picks on the top QBs, I think you could wait and take Trevor Lawrence because he has an ADP of 56. So getting drafted in the mid-5th round there. He's the QB8. So again, 7 guys are going before Trevor Lawrence. But let's not forget, Trevor Lawrence had a fantastic year last year with Christian Kirk and the likes of his other guys. You know, he had ETN last year, but now he gets Calvin Ridley back. So now he has an absolute vertical threat downfield in Calvin Ridley. I think the trick plays are going to be absolutely crazy on this team. But Trevor Lawrence also has a little bit of rushing side, and he had a huge playoff win last year. So I think Trevor Lawrence is young. He's still getting used. I wouldn't say he's still getting used to the NFL, but he's definitely well acquainted with the NFL at this point. I mean, he's 3rd year now. So Trevor Lawrence, I love it. I think he's going to finish as a top 5 QB, no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. My next must-have fantasy player, this guy, after the NFL draft, was the biggest faller on a fantasy football player of all. He used to be a 1st, 2nd round pick. This guy's now dropping down to the 5th round. It's Kenneth Walker. Now, all the experts will tell you, stay away with Kenneth Walker. Zach Charbonnet's he's going to take a lot of carries away. But I don't understand it. I really don't. Because they needed the running back support. They lost Penny. They lost Travis Homer last year. They only had 2 running backs on their roster going into the NFL draft. So obviously they needed to draft a running back because you can't have 2 running backs going into the season. So obviously they were going to pick a guy there. And yes, you don't want to see your top running back get a guy picked in the 2nd round of the fantasy draft. But they do 2 completely different things. Kenneth Walker never got pass through to begin with last season, so Zach Charbonnet is not going to steal any because Kenneth Walker didn't get any. And he was the 12th worst goal line back last year, so all the fantasy experts saying that Zach Charbonnet is going to steal the goal line touches. This man had 12 carries for 2 touchdowns in all of last season for red zone touches. So they drafted Zach Charbonnet to do the things that Kenneth Walker wasn't already doing. So this guy is not going to steal what Kenneth Walker, his carries, his on-the-field production, because Kenneth Walker wasn't already doing the things that they drafted Zach Charbonnet for. And yes, is his upside limited? Yes. You're not going to get a bell cow guy, Kenneth Walker. Obviously, Zach Charbonnet is there, but he's going in the 5th round. You have one of the most talented running backs. Let's not forget 3 years ago, he was up for the Heisman Trophy. On a team that's top 5 run-heavy team in the league, he's going to get 15 to 20 touches a game. He's going to get his 1 breakout run a game like he did last season. This guy is a must draft. He has fallen so far. I think he should be at least a 3rd to 4th round pick. You can now get him in the 5th to 6th round. I don't understand the hate on Kenneth Walker. I don't.
I actually agree with you because I'm a Seahawk fan, so I love seeing Kenneth Walker on this list. Sticking with the running back wavelength here. Jamir Gibbs. This might be a little bit of a shocker to some because Jamir Gibbs is a rookie. We have not seen him play a snap of NFL ball yet, so who knows truly what he'll turn out to be. But Jamir Gibbs is currently getting drafted at an ADP of 36. He's the RB14. Now, when I look at Jamir Gibbs, Travis, he reminds me exactly of Alvin Kamara.
Oh.
Maybe, Alvin Kamara went a lot later in the draft than Jamir Gibbs did, but I'm seeing Jamir Gibbs run routes like he's a receiver. So I think the passing upside out of the backfield for Jamir is going to be astronomical on this team. The only thing that scares me, though, is there are a couple other backs in that backfield. I think it's just going to be up to Jamir Gibbs to prove to the Lions and prove to the NFL that he is here to stay, and he is one of these elite backs that needs to be planned for by opposing defenses. But he's a Bama running back. We all know who else is a Bama running back in the NFL, Derrick Henry. Jamir Gibbs is a highlight machine. You saw him in college. He's a dog. I don't really need to say much else. He runs routes like he's a receiver. I love me some Jamir Gibbs. I mark my words, he is going to be the Alvin Kamara of this season.
Yeah, I mean, we saw draft day how hyped the Lions staff was to get Jamir Gibbs. I think this guy, he was drafted in front of DeAndre Swift when the Lions drafted DeAndre Swift back in the day. I think he has the capability to be what DeAndre Swift never was. I mean, we see last season, DeAndre Swift was hyped to get into the late first, early second rounds of drafts last year. This guy was drafted in the 12th overall spot in the NFL draft. He has the capability to be what we all thought DeAndre Swift could be in that Lions offense. We know Jared Goff loves his checkdowns. We saw that when Jared Goff supported the number one fantasy running back in Todd Gurley years back. This guy can be what we thought DeAndre Swift could be. And I think if you draft him, especially in PPR leagues, he's going to be a must-have guy.
100% in PPR leagues. Love that thought there.
My next guy, similar wavelength to who I said with Kenneth Walker, is Aaron Jones. People are scared that A.J. Dillon is going to take the load off of Aaron Jones. A.J. Dillon has been in this offense for 3 years now. What do you think is going to change? Every year he's going to keep taking Aaron Jones' snaps? No, because this offense, this Packers offense, is going to be running it a whole hell of a lot more than they did last season. He's currently going as the RB16 with an ADP of 38, which means you can get him in the 4th round. But he finishes the RB8 last season. If you guys are drafting Tony Pollard in the 2nd round, this guy finished with better stats than Tony Pollard did last year. And yes, Tony Pollard has the backfield to himself, but you don't have Aaron Rodgers taking away stats from Aaron Jones, making him run his screenplays. This guy's going to be a star. You know they're going to run the offense through the run game in Green Bay. The offense is completely changing. It's no more Aaron Rodgers, which means the slow-paced offense is gone. You're going to have a more fast, up-paced offense like we see in San Francisco in that Matt LaFleur system because he used to be an offensive coordinator for Kyle Shanahan. So I think that this guy's going to be a beast. And let's not forget, he was the 2nd most efficient back last year behind Nick Chubb. And
that's a pretty good name to be behind, if I do say so myself.
He's definitely one of the best passing backs in PPR leagues. This guy, we see his catching ability. I don't understand why he's going this late. Again, just like Kenneth Walker, is the upside limited? Yes, but when you're drafting a guy in the 5th round and he has the capability to be a top 10 fantasy back, who cares about upside at that point? Just go take the safe pick. Go take Aaron Jones. If you want upside, go take a guy like Tony Pollard in the 2nd round.
I love the thought process there. Getting Aaron Jones in the 5th round is an absolute steal, in my opinion. 4th round. Either way, no matter how you slice it, it's an absolute steal. But moving along to my final absolute need for fantasy football this year, Keenan Allen.
Biggest must-have, I think, this year in fantasy football.
He's going to be an absolute dog. He currently has an ADP of 45.5, so going in that mid-4th to 5th round there. He's a wide receiver 18, so 17 guys are going before Keenan Allen. Let's not forget, Keenan Allen was injured last year. He returned week 11 and finished the season averaging 11 targets, 7.3 catches, and 82 receiving yards, and he scored 4 times in just 6 weeks. So I love Keenan Allen there. He also has a new coach in Keelan Moore, which will help improve his fantasy production. And let's also not forget, Keenan Allen has one of the best quarterbacks who actually just got paid with Justin Herbert. So you're not going to be worried about him getting the ball accurately whatsoever. And the other thing I love about Keenan Allen is defenses not only need to plan for Keenan Allen, they also need to plan for Mike Williams. So that's just going to open the door of opportunity for Keenan Allen to get even more catches, targets, all that good stuff. Keenan Allen is an absolute league winner, in my opinion, this year. I don't really need to say much else. You guys have been hearing that for years now. Keenan Allen's been in the league.
Yeah, I think this guy is the biggest must-have in fantasy this year. Kellen Moore is now calling the offensive plays down in Los Angeles, and it's a big improvement from who they had last season. We've seen Kellen Moore in the 5-6 years he was in Dallas have a top 5 offense every single season, and I think you're going to see that because he has the players to do it with the Chargers.
100%.
Yes, maybe you can be scared that Quentin Johnston they just drafted in the first round, Mike Williams are going to take some production away, but this guy, Keenan Allen, is going to be like the CeeDee Lamb in that Cowboys offense. When they had Amari Cooper, when they had Michael Gallup, we're not worried about the production there. Justin Herbert can throw for 5,000 yards, so he can support multiple 1,000-yard receivers. Keenan Allen is going to be that guy. We already know he's one of the best route runners in the league, and I know if you've been watching your TikToks or Instagrams or whatever, this has definitely been the most hyped up player with Kellen Moore now calling the plays. But yeah, those are your top 10 must-have players in fantasy football. Some early round guys like Travis Kelce, some later round guys like you can get in the 5th or 6th round like Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones.
Yeah, no, I love the list. If you guys love the list as well, drop a comment down below. Did we hit on these picks? Do you agree? Let us know down below. And if you have some other opinions, please, we will be commenting and responding to every single person down there. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do your commenting, do the due diligence, and Trev.
As always, cue that outro, baby.
Peace.